So picture this: you're an INFJ known for being compassionate, intuitive, and generally calm. But suddenly something triggers you, and you feel this intense emotion bubbling up inside. That's what we're talking about today, the hidden world of INFJ anger that most people don't even know exists. Let's kick things off by talking about what makes INFJ tick. These folks are part of the Myers-Briggs personality types, and they're pretty unique. INFJ are introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging. They're often called the advocate or the counselor because they've got this uncanny ability to understand others and want to make the world a better place. But here's the thing: INFJ are also perfectionists with high standards, not just for themselves but for everyone around them. And when those standards aren't met, well, that's when things can get a little heated. Now, you might be thinking, INFJ, angry. No way, and you'd be right to be surprised. INFJ are usually the picture of calm and composure. They're the ones who listen to their friends' problems, offer sage advice, and seem to have it all together. But beneath that serene exterior, there's a whole lot going on. You see, INFJ feel things deeply. Like really deeply. They're empaths, which means they absorb the emotions of others like a sponge. And when you're soaking up everyone else's feelings on top of your own, well, let's just say it can be a recipe for some intense emotions. But here's the kicker: INFJ don't often show their anger. They're not the type to blow up at the drop of a hat. Nope, they're more likely to bottle it all up inside, letting it simmer and stew until, boom. That's when the INFJ rage comes out to play. So why don't INFJ express their anger more openly? Well, it's complicated. For one, they're natural peacemakers. They hate conflict and will do almost anything to avoid it. Plus, they're incredibly empathetic, so they're always considering how their actions might affect others. It's like they've got this internal compass that's constantly pointing towards harmony. But here's the thing: all that repressed anger has to go somewhere. And that's where the 5 levels of INFJ rage come in. Yep, you heard that right. 5 whole levels of anger that most people never even see coming. Let's start with level 1, the silent treatment. This is where it all begins. The INFJ is feeling frustrated, but they're not ready to confront the issue head-on. Instead, they retreat into themselves. They might become quieter than usual, give short answers, or avoid eye contact. It's like they're building a wall between themselves and the source of their frustration. Now, to the outside world, this might not look like anger at all. In fact, most people might not even notice a change. But for the INFJ, it's the first sign that something's not right. They're processing their emotions, trying to figure out why they're upset and what to do about it. During this stage, the INFJ might spend a lot of time in their own head, replaying situations and conversations, trying to make sense of their feelings. They might also start to withdraw from social situations, needing more alone time than usual to recharge and reflect. If you're close to an INFJ, you might notice subtle changes in their behavior during this stage. They might be less enthusiastic about plans, take longer to respond to messages, or seem distracted when you're talking to them. It's like they've got one foot in the real world and one foot in their internal world of thoughts and emotions. But here's the tricky part: if the issue isn't addressed at this stage, things can quickly escalate to level 2, passive aggression. This is where the INFJ's frustration starts to leak out in subtle, indirect ways. At this level, the INFJ might start making sarcastic comments or using biting humor to express their dissatisfaction. They might also become more critical, pointing out flaws or mistakes that they would usually overlook. It's like they're testing the waters, seeing if anyone will pick up on their growing anger. The passive-aggressive stage is particularly challenging because it goes against the INFJ's natural inclination towards kindness and harmony. They're not comfortable with direct confrontation, but they also can't keep their feelings bottled up anymore. So they resort to these indirect methods of expression. You might hear an INFJ at this stage say things like, "Oh, I'm fine. Everything's great," in a tone that clearly suggests otherwise. Or they might agree to do something they don't want to do, but then forget about it or do it poorly. It's their way of expressing their anger without actually saying, "I'm angry." This stage can be particularly confusing for those around the INFJ. On the surface, the INFJ might still seem calm and collected, but there's an underlying tension that's hard to ignore. It's like trying to read between the lines of a complex novel. The real meaning is there, but it's not always easy to decipher. If the source of the INFJ's frustration still isn't addressed, we move on to level 3, the confrontation. This is where things start to get real. The INFJ has reached their limit, and they're ready to address the issue head-on. Now, when an INFJ confronts someone, it's not usually a shouting match. Remember, they're still trying to maintain some level of harmony. Instead, it's more likely to be a calm, but intense conversation. The INFJ will lay out their grievances in a logical, well-thought-out manner. They've been processing these feelings for a while, after all. During this stage, the INFJ might surprise people with their directness. They'll articulate their feelings clearly and firmly, often catching others off guard with their sudden assertiveness. It's like watching a quiet stream suddenly turn into a powerful river. The force of their emotions can be quite overwhelming. The INFJ might say things like, "I've been feeling disrespected lately and I need to address it," or "Your actions have been hurtful and we need to talk about it." They're not beating around the bush anymore, they're confronting the issue head-on. This confrontation can be cathartic for the INFJ. Finally, they're expressing their true feelings, letting out all that pent-up frustration. But it can also be exhausting. INFJ aren't naturally confrontational, so this level of directness takes a lot out of them. If the confrontation goes well, this might be where the INFJ rage ends. The issue gets resolved, apologies are made, and the INFJ can start to feel at peace again. But if the confrontation doesn't go well, that's when we enter level 4, the door slam. The INFJ door slam is infamous in personality-type circles. It's when an INFJ decides they've had enough and completely cuts someone out of their life. And when an INFJ slams the door, they slam it hard. This isn't a decision the INFJ makes lightly. Remember, they're natural peacemakers who value their relationships deeply. But when they feel that a relationship is toxic or that they've been repeatedly hurt or disrespected, they'll eventually reach a breaking point. The door slam isn't always literal. The INFJ might not dramatically slam a door in someone's face. Instead, it's more of an emotional and mental cutting off. They might stop responding to messages, decline invitations, or even block the person on social media. It's like they're erasing that person from their life. From the outside, this might seem sudden or extreme. But for the INFJ, it's the culmination of a long process. They've likely given the person many chances, tried to work things out, and only resorted to the door slam when they felt they had no other choice. During this stage, the INFJ might seem cold or indifferent towards the person they've cut off, but internally they're likely still processing a lot of pain and disappointment. The door slam is as much about self-preservation as it is about anger. Now, you might be thinking, surely that's the highest level of INFJ rage, right? Wrong. There's one more level, and it's a doozy. Enter level 5, the eruption. The eruption is rare, but when it happens, it's intense. This is when all that bottled-up anger, all those repressed emotions, come bursting out in a volcanic explosion of rage. It's like watching a volcano that's been dormant for years suddenly erupt. During an eruption, the usually calm and composed INFJ might yell, cry, or even throw things. They might say things they've been holding back for years, airing every grievance and frustration. It's raw, it's intense, and it can be pretty scary for those who've never seen this side of the INFJ before. An eruption might sound something like this: "I'm sick and tired of always putting everyone else first. I have needs too, you know. I'm not just here to be your emotional punching bag." It's like all their repressed thoughts and feelings are finally getting a voice. The eruption is often followed by a period of exhaustion and sometimes regret. INFJ don't like losing control like this, and they might feel ashamed of their outburst. But in many ways, the eruption can be cathartic, allowing the INFJ to finally release all that pent-up emotion. So, what can we learn from these 5 levels of INFJ rage? Well, for one, it's a reminder that even the calmest, most composed people have their limits. INFJ might seem like they have it all together, but they're human too, with very real and very intense emotions. For INFJ, recognizing these stages in themselves can be incredibly helpful. It allows them to address their feelings earlier, before they reach the more intense levels of rage. Maybe they can start expressing their frustrations during the silent treatment stage, rather than letting them build up to an eruption. And for those who have INFJ in their lives, understanding these stages can help you better support your INFJ friends or loved ones.